why are decisions so difficult to make right now? Well, I think there's a lot of things going on, and I talk about them in the book. One of them is there is an increased fear and anxiety right now, and we know that that can have a big impact on our decisions. There has been a decrease in trust. This is hard to measure, right? But if you believe the research that's gone on, there has been a decrease in trust in institutions, really around the world. There has been this subtle erosion, and I think that makes it easier for other voices to come into play. And there's also research that highlights how people who believe in conspiracy theories, they have low levels of trust, et cetera. So that's another important factor. The other important factor, I think there's an increase. This is not a think, it's true. There's been an increase in polarization in public discourse. That can also make it more difficult to fight misinformation. In fact, I think social media plays a big role here. I often joke that social media is a polarization machine. And of course, disruptive communication technologies. Speaking of social media, this, can't emphasize this enough. In our own research, we have a big grant right now on misinformation in the context of COVID. There's absolutely no doubt that this is a social media story, right? Social media has facilitated the polarization. Social media has allowed more voices to be heard. It's allowed echo chambers to form. So this is obviously a big part of the story. In addition to that, individuals trying to sell stuff. So whether they're selling, bunk products, whether they're selling an ideology, whether they're selling a personal brand, that has also had a big impact. So what can we do about it? What's the answer, right? How do we move forward? Well, hopefully we can touch on these in the Q&A because I have a lot of thoughts about what we can do about it. But there are some big points to be made. Yes, we need to be better at critical thinking. And there's interesting research that tells us that we can teach critical thinking. You can teach critical thinking to kids. You can teach critical thinking to adults, and you can have an impact. We also need to always turn back to those science-informed basics. This has been a theme throughout my work. Whether you're talking about fighting the pandemic, or whether you're talking about trying to live a healthy lifestyle, if you just remind yourself to think about those science-informed basics, that'll take you a long way. So living a healthy lifestyle, we know what those science-informed basics are, right? It's you don't smoke, you exercise, you eat a healthy diet, and there's no magic there, right? It's fruits and vegetables, healthy protein, whole grains, no magic, right? You try to maintain a healthy weight. That's a tough one, recognizing we all come in different shapes and sizes and can be healthy in those different shapes and sizes. You get a good night's sleep, right? You take those basic preventative steps. So, you wear a seatbelt, you wash your hands, you get a vaccine, right? And you surround yourself with people you love. And really, that's about it. That's about it. And of course, the other thing that you want to do, you want to relax, damn it. And there's actual evidence to back that up. An increasing body of evidence has told us that if we pause and we just reflect, we're less likely to share misinformation on social media, and we're more likely to be able to critically assess the content ourselves. I know that sounds like a ridiculous, straightforward intervention strategy, but there is a good body of evidence to suggest if we can just nudge people to relax, we can make a difference.